On seeing the masterclass being advertised, I instantly jumped and I said, listen, this is Dominic Caliphasad we're talking about. And you can do nothing but learn, but be a sponge and glean information.
For me, seeing him on TV growing up, doing a newscast, and when I saw this masterclass, I saw that I have to grab this opportunity.
I think definitely the class befits its title, Lisa. You were genius in actually saying masterclass.
The fact that you have both local, regional, and international experience, and then you just downloaded all of that to us in one day. It's an excellent opportunity for anyone wanting to grow, stretch themselves. I am also so thankful that you are ready to share all of this knowledge with not just Trinidad, but the Caribbean.
Definitely beneficial, and I would recommend it to anyone in the industry. And even if you're not in the industry and you want to get in, this is something definitely for you.
Welcome back, viewers, to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Now, in our rundown, I know you heard a familiar name to our screens, a familiar name to, the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, and that is Miss Lisa Wickham.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Miss Wickham.
Good morning, Natalia. Good morning, Tobago Updates audience. That's me here, right? That's my camera. Good morning.
All right, so I must admit that I'm a bit nervous. Now, this is an interviewer interviewing an interviewer, right? And let me now mention as well that she is, of course, one of those masters in communication. I am just a budding interviewer, I should say. Host. Yeah, thank you, Dwayne. He's in the background. Now, let me tell you, before this interview, there was a lineup of staff at the back of these TVs just to see Miss Wickham's setup. Right, so that's how important this interview is to us.
Natalia, and they did not do a spirit tunnel, you see?
Yeah,
I feel like you guys have to do a spirit tunnel for me to leave. You know, the spirit tunnel when you go through.
Oh, yeah, when you walk through and
when
stuff.
you walk through, yeah.
What was that
I really saw everybody, but I thought they were here working. I didn't realize.
I think we could do that like that Mufasa thing. Yes. I think we could throw that tonight.
Yeah. Yes.
We could we could post that up after, right? So Miss Wickham, I know she has a lot of titles, right? But that one that she wants to bring across this morning is the CEO of Imagine Media International. All right. So she's here to speak to us on communication with the masters.
Yes.
Right. And that is a program or a session that would foster the growth in journalism and all sorts of spheres. Right. So we'll get directly into that. So, Miss Lisa.
Yes. Miss Natalia.
Why the masterclass now?
Now, okay, so the Caribbean Film and Media Academy, which I launched in 2007, we've been doing programs. We did a number of programs here in Tobago a few years ago. And around 10 years ago, I launched the Lisa Wickham Masterclass series. Yeah. And that's because working internationally in Europe, in Africa, in North America, and so on, when you don't see me on screen, I'm doing stuff behind the scenes. Yeah. I've been privileged to work with some of the best. So I decided to launch the masterclass series. Some of the best, including Dominic Caliphasad, who I've known since as a child. I started at 6 years old on national television. And then, of course, Dominic was one of my mentors and still is. So we have done the communication masterclass in Trinidad more than once, as you saw. And Dominic said, but Lisa, Tobago, we have not touched Tobago. And I think it's important that we do Tobago. And for me, Tobago has always been... I see Tobago as idyllic in terms of developing film and television as a center of excellence.
Yes.
Last year, we took the Cross-Continental Forum to Barbados, bringing people from all over the world to Barbados, experts in the industry to Barbados for that forum, that 5-day forum. Why? Because, people don't mind flying to the Caribbean. So you have that idyllic location and you also have the opportunity to network. So that's the vision, really, to build out a number of programs that brings revenue through tourism to Tobago, but also help to develop the capacity of people on the island, right?
Yes.
In broadcast and communications and so on. Another reason is that now more than ever, we're doing this, which is broadcasting and interviewing and so on. But when you look at how the landscape has changed with AI and digital technology and so on, we have to keep current.
Yes.
We have to keep relevant. We can't be afraid of technology. We can't be afraid of AI. We have to look at it as a tool, and those are some of the things we'll be exploring at the workshop and the masterclass.
I love the fact that that is what you all would be exploring, because a lot of people, I think we have a lot of examples of the world going forward in terms of AI, in terms of all entirely being digital, and a lot of people wanting to stay back because this is what they know. Yeah. So I love that you all have incorporated that progress that people should make.
I say Dominic Alpissad is a perennial.
Yes.
Right? Because he has been able to transcend.
Yeah.
If you look at his social media pages, he's very relevant. And almost 67,000 followers, and he's keeping current. He's on top of everything. And it's that's what we want to do. We want to show that communication tools and techniques, you have the legacy format that will never get old, but language has changed over the years. Communications platforms have changed. TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and so on. And how do you navigate that as a communicator? It would be one of the things that we'll be looking at as well.
Okay, so Ms. Wickham also mentioned Mr. Dominic Alpissad. She mentioned him twice. So let me just acknowledge him as one of our viewers here this morning. He's not with us, but he is viewing with you. All right. So as we spoke about the masters for the masterclass, he would be the other master that would be there.
Absolutely.
Right. And you know that Dominic is no stranger to our screens, especially on TV6. Yes, he reads the news quite eloquently. Yes, I'm a fan. Right. So good morning to you, Mr. Dominic. And thank you so much for joining us, our viewership on Tobago Updates here this morning. All right. So you spoke about progression in terms of production, etc., etc. What else can the participants expect?
Well, as you mentioned, Dominic, this is a very interactive. This is not just us talking. It's highly interactive, as you saw from some of the videos.
Yes.
And Dominic likes to take the participants onto the floor, for example, do proper breathing techniques and so on. So we want people to walk with their mats and their towels. They'll get that information when they come.
Okay.
But, it's all about how you manage control of your breath and so on. A lot of people are afraid to speak in public. And so it's not just for persons who want to be on television or on social media. It's also for persons who have to perhaps do a press conference or to do some level of public speaking. I've done work with seminarians, for example, because priests have to stand on a pulpit and speak. Communication is there, even if we think we're not communicating, we are. So it's open to anyone who needs to be in front of some sort of public forum. What I want to talk to as well is our leadership peering initiative.
Well, that was my next question.
That was your next question?
Yes, of course it was.
I'm really excited about that. Since we started in 2007, we have the LPI where we get corporate sponsors. For example, like First Citizens Bank has already come on board, where they pay for young people, whether it's from A-levels, tertiary, or Tobago Youth Council, for example, to participate at full cost, so they don't have to pay. But the beauty of it is that they get to network, they get to sit alongside the experts and learn alongside. And, I think there's a symbiotic relationship because we learn from them as much as they would learn from us.
Okay.
All right. And so when you put people together on a table and they're talking and they're eating,
that's how we learn.
That's how you learn. And that's how you keep current together.
Yes.
And that's how relationships, the lifelong relationships, come out of these type of opportunities. So, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are afraid to speak to people.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, just start the conversation.
Yeah.
Just say, hello, Miss Lisa. And from there, I think, you understand what would happen.
And then if you get to sit with them for a day, then that person becomes someone that you have access to after the workshop. So that leadership peering, as much as we get the sponsorship from the corporates, we pass it on to the young people, and they get to participate as well.
All right. So you said the young people. Now, my question to you is, who are you going to be catering to?
Right. So the workshop is for professionals, persons in communications, persons who, as I said, would want to brushing up on their skills and so on. But we also have young people who are young, bright people who are communicators. Some of the people you see out there communicating 20s, early 20s, and so on, right? And so it's not that it's just for seasoned professionals.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have the opportunity as young incoming journalists,
Yes.
as young
Yes.
incoming media personnel
Yes.
to
Yeah.
join this program and to learn a bit more
Yeah.
about how we can improve ourselves.
Because we're not just doing broadcasting, we're doing public speaking,
Yeah.
you know, we're doing communication techniques altogether. And I want to say thank you as well to some of our partners on the ground here. Viola's Place,
Okay,
right? I
all
spent the
right.
night there. They're doing such great work, fixing it up and so on. So thank you to Viola's Place. Thank you to Newlands Video Production, Sophie, Guillaume, and Kyron and they are partners on the ground. Pink's Delights will be feeding us. I had Pink's Delights food yesterday, and I'm going again to get some more. It was really good. And Erin's will be, that's Erin's with the donuts and so on.
Okay,
and so Erin's is involved as well. And of course, First Citizen Bank.
Oh, we
is
can't
on.
forget
So-
First Citizens Bank.
So yes. So.
Okay. All right. So we have a lot to look forward to with communications with the masses. And you heard it here first at Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays.
Don't close yet. Don't close yet.
I'm not
I have a
gonna
surprise.
close.
I have a surprise. I have a surprise.
Not closing.
We're going to do a 5%. But you have to put in, when you register and you put your name, you have to put in Tobago Updates, TUD, next to your name when you register. But you have to register before 10 o'clock today because we have a timestamp.
Okay.
And you get that 5%.
5%.
discount. Yeah. So if you're watching and you want to be part of it, you can go on our social media pages, Imagine Media International. You can go on Facebook, Instagram. There's the link there on any of the promotions like what you're seeing there. But make sure and put Tobago Update, TUD, next to your name when you're registering, and you'll get that 5%.
If it's a day you're supposed to be watching Tobago Updates, today is the day. All right. So we see the flyer on the screen, but I'll ask Miss Wickham to just share with us the details of that program.
Yeah.
So the where, the when, the how do I dress, the everything.
First
What
of
do I
all,
do?
let's leave a dress comfortably.
Right.
Because you're going on the floor.
Because
at
yeah,
some
because I
point.
saw some photos with Dominic and the youths on the floor, and I'm
Yes.
like, okay, we wearing a tights and a t-shirt.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
Yes. And it looked like all youths because once you go into that, you suddenly lose 10 years.
Oh,
right?
right. Wow.
And it's going to be at the Tobago Library Services.
Mm-hmm.
I know people have been asking, but wasn't there a fire there?
Okay.
It's we visited yesterday. The auditorium is fine, and so it's safe and it's really beautiful.
I
So,
think the fire service actually dealt with that immediately.
yes,
though.
but I
Yeah,
keep
so-
getting calls. I thought there was a fire. I thought there was. It's fine. So
Yeah.
it's at the auditorium.
Okay.
It's on May the 3rd from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can come in from as early as 8 o'clock to
right.
register and so on. Meals will be provided. Certificate of participation at the end, and yeah. Let's come and let's work through those communication issues. When people register, we ask them what they want, what they're looking forward to. So we've been reading it and we'll just tweak it and add it in.
Okay, so you're saying that everything would be addressed.
Well, it's just one day.
Okay.
So we touch on crisis communication, navigating the digital landscape, AI, tool, whether it's a tool or a threat, legacy communication, and breathing techniques and so on. However, this is launching a series of programs so that we can get into more details if we're doing a longer format program.
Okay. And I mean, I know you said you all are the masters, but can we look forward to anyone else being there, or we're just looking for the masters for that program?
For this program, it will be Dominic and myself. You never know. Sometimes we have surprise Zoom calls, but I'm not going to say that as yet. But in the months to come, we will have additional programs on the ground here with persons, whether they're from outside through the network, whether it's from the UK or from LA or Canada, because we've had persons here before on the ground doing programs in Tobago out of Canada, which is Hollywood North. So
Okay.
these would have been persons who worked on, so one of my colleagues, for example, Ken Smith, he worked on Suits. And at the end of every season of Suits,
Suits as in these suits?
yeah, these Suits, yes.
Okay.
These guys work on the real Hollywood programs.
All right.
And these are my colleagues. So at the end of every season, he would come to Tobago very quietly on vacation. But he also hosted a workshop here for me a few years ago with Avril. And, and these guys have worked on a number of all these international films that we watch, these movies. So I want to bring that technology. That's a technology that I want to bring to the region, not just Trinidad and Tobago, but the entire Caribbean. And we've had persons fly in before to workshops that we've done in Trinidad. And the idea is that, people will fly in if you have high quality productions.
I'm happy that you said he came to Tobago quietly, because I'm here thinking in my head, maybe I had the opportunity to be the next Meghan Markle and I didn't get it, but it's okay. We'll leave that alone.
I did tease him when Meghan Markle became Duchess. I said, but wait, now you got an uninvited wedding. Can I be your plus one?
You see, I missed all of those opportunities. But, now that I know,
yes,
now that Miss Wickham has given away that, I can look for you, But,
I'm send this clip to him.
All right. So we had Miss Lisa Wickham telling us about communication with the masters. It's a 1-day masterclass. She is one of the masters, but the other master you can look forward to seeing is Mr. Dominic Kalipasar. This will be taking place on May 3rd, 2025 at Tobago Library Services, Scarborough, Tobago, from the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The cost attached is $1,000. But if you are looking at today's program and you register with TUD, yes, you get.
You have to put that next to your name when you register.
Have to put that next to your name when you're registering. You get a 5% discount off, right? So I hope that you all are looking at Tobago updates this morning, right? So that you get that 5% off and you can attend the masterclass with Mr. Dominic Kalipasar and Miss Lisa Wickham. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Natalia.
Thank you so much for being with
nervous.
us.
You said at the top you said you were nervous.
Not very, but looking at the crowd at the back of these cameras, it's raising my nerves again.
I want my spirit tunnel.
All right. So, Rena, thank you so much once again for being with us here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Thank you so much for choosing Tobago Updates to come and share the masterclass with us. All right. So, viewers, we are at the end of our Youth Wednesdays morning show. But before I go and before I hand you over to Good Morning Tobago with Miss Candice Jackson, I would like you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.